Chelsea Cook is bringing a night of laughs at the Fitzgerald Theater October 4th. Catch one of two shows, including a special taping. Tickets are available now. Get the full details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Always fast-paced, action-packed, and controversial. Expect nothing different in hour number 2, in which we begin with 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. It's time now for a look at the links.
The Phoenix Mercury rallied from a 20-point third-quarter deficit to beat the Minnesota Lynx 89-83 in overtime in Game 2 of their series last night at Target Center. Best-of-5 series now tied at 1-1. Minnesota only got 3 points from its bench, while Phoenix got 25 points from their bench, including the game-tying 3 from Sammy Whitcomb. Game 3 is Friday night in Phoenix. Common, your thoughts?
That's my thoughts. This team, you're blowing it, kid. That's what Angelo Dundee yelled to Sugar Ray Leonard in the first Hearns-Leonard fight. You're blowing it, kid. And then he stopped Hearns in the 14th round. Terrific fight, as alleged if Sugar Ray Leonard was born. Well, I like the coach. She took the blame for not calling it time out on the 5-second violation, though she also threw the player under the bus and she knows she could have called the timeout, which is true, but I like that. But then she took complete and total blame for not. They had a foul to give, and they just let the Suns, no, what are they? Mercury, Neptunes, whatever they are. They let them just pass the ball around, and then they hit the tray, and she said after the game, I didn't have them foul, and hindsight being 20/20, they should have. I saw the quotes again from players. They didn't beat us, we beat us. Well, it sounds to me that they were real physical in the game and really came out. So no, you're not playing your best basketball had a lot to do with the opposite. Everybody wants to do this, like. If the other team's got nothing to do with our failures, it's just, and I know they don't know what else to say. They all say cliches. I still, and I'm not paying as close attention to the WNBA or Lynx basketball as I once did, but I would still expect them to be able to win the series. But now it's 2 games in Phoenix. And so if you don't want to have that 5th and decisive game back at Bullseye, then you got to win them both. But yeah, I'm sure that gives the Neptunes, the Saturns, some real confidence. So we'll have to see what happens.
Question number 2.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the welfare of the Wolves.
The Timberwolves announced today that their classic edition uniforms and a court designed to match will return to the days of the black trees. From 1998 to 2008, in the era of Hall of Famer Kevin Garnett, the team wore black jerseys with evergreen tree borders. The tree trim made its first appearance on the team's jerseys in 1996 before the black was introduced. They'll be back this season for 21 home games and 7 road games, starting with an October 26th meeting with Indiana at Target Center. Target Center will also feature a classic edition court as a replica of the parquet hardwood it used during the 1990s. The court will be used for 21 home games where the classic edition jersey is worn. Common, are you excited for the return of the Black Trees era?
Is this you remember, was it last week? list radio is what? Lazy radio. There's nobody lazier than me when it comes to radio. And someone had done a list of, they were ranking the NBA uniforms, and they put the Wolves at just rock bottom.
Yeah.
Said it might be the worst jersey in the history. It was nondescript. You put any team's name where it says Wolves. You could put Neptunes, Mercuries, the Uranuses, the Marses, whatever team you wanted to put in there. And maybe the Wolves heard. Maybe they caught wind of that story and said, we do have just these blasé, gosh, awful uniforms. Let's go back to the thrilling days of yesterday. Because I think in that story it even said back in the Garnett days they had the really good uniforms. So, I don't know. I'm a uniform guy. It's more football. I'm more interested in the football uniforms. I like color rush, and I like that when they mix and match. They'll have like maybe purple pants and white jerseys, or purple jerseys and white pants, or all white, whatever. But so yeah, if they go back to that's fine with me. I actually didn't mind the uniforms the guy was panning, because I kind of like block lettering and such like that. I think I kind of look sharp. But yeah, go ahead, go back. I mean, and let's face it, it's to sell more jerseys. That's what it said. They want Lori and A-Rod are the same as every other ownership group. It's like, hey, if we put out a new uniform, kids got to have them. Got to have the new uni. Looks great. Got to have my latest Ant jersey with the throwback look. So that's what that's all about.
I'm going to say something controversial.
That's
here,
interesting.
because the reveal today on social media was a big hit with a lot of people. The Black Trees uniform from the KG era, they're really not that great. It's just that people are nostalgic for Kevin Garnett and the Kevin Garnett era. They love that era of basketball. So it gives them the feels because it reminds them of that. But the actual just look of the jerseys, the look of the uniforms, to me is meh. Now, I'd probably like it better than their current state, but I think that's why people get the feels for it. I still would prefer year one, like the blue and green with the Wolves logo with the basketball behind it. I like that better. I think that looks cooler than the Garnett logo, but we weren't as good back then, and we didn't create as much feels back then.
So you think
that's what I think.
You think that's your theory? I think that is controversial.
Everyone's favorite genre of music is typically from like junior high and high school, right? Your favorite?
I would say your theory is similar to Al Gore when he thought that
interesting.
That the altitude change is what affected Obama's losing the speech to Romney.
Question number 3.
All Vikings, let's win this game. You'll hear us yell for more.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the state of the Skull.
Skull. Vikings defensive tackle Kevin Williams, a 5-time first-team All-Pro selection and a member of the NFL's Team of the Decade for the 2000s.
I call him K-Will.
Is among the 128 modern-era players nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame's class of 2026. They announced this morning the 9th pick of the 2023 draft. Williams
it's actually the 7th pick, but he became the 9th pick.
Williams played 11 of his 13 seasons with the Purple. In his first 7 seasons, he earned 5 All-Pro selections, 6 Pro Bowls, and notched 48.5% of his 63 career sacks. He's one of 22 defenders of the NFL's Team of 2000s, but all but 4 of them are in the Hall of Fame. Williams, however, has not even been one of the 25 semifinalists as he enters his 6th year of eligibility. Comment: should Kevin Williams be a Hall of Famer?
I suppose. I mean, you know how I feel about Halls of Fames. I think they're overloaded. To me, if you're in the Hall of Fame, it's because when they anytime anybody utters your name, they have to say it in hushed tones. You'd say, like, remember that guy for the Vikings, Kevin Williams, and then he was a really good player. And I don't do that with Kevin. I don't do that with most guys in the NFL. But he was a hell of a player. There's no doubt. And you just read the accomplishments. That would seem, if you compare it to other guys in the Hall, I got to think he's up there. So if it means a lot to him and to his family and to his teammates and all of his friends, then God bless him. I hope he gets in.
And That's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Head coach about 120, we think. We'll have to see how that goes. That's 5-3-4 for you here on the Common Man program. So again, when we come back, we'll tap dance a little bit, and then the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, with his midweek news conference right here on the Fan.
Gear up for a hilarious night when Dane Cook returns to the Island Event Center. See his legendary style of stand-up comedy live at Treasure Island on Friday, October 24th. Get all the details now at TICasino.com.
His comedy is legendary. That's from Kung Fu Panda 1. So, his name is Po. Our battle will be legendary. You ever see Kung Fu
Is that the part
Panda?
you cried at?
Yes. Oh, hell yeah. You've not seen it yet?
I don't think I have. I tried to get my kids to watch it, and they didn't want to watch it.
Oh, so good. I would check it out. Check it out. If I were you, Deuce tonight, he went out with to dinner with pals last night. He's got doubleheader soccer action on Game Time Minnesota tomorrow. Tonight we're going to watch Gigans. That's what we call Gilligan's Island. The kids call it Gigans. So we're going to watch some reruns of Gigans. 3 seasons, like 100 episodes. You know, back in the olden days, they would just do one show. They didn't like have the fall season run through the early winter. How long does a television season last now? Like, does it starts like in September? Is it over by middle of November? And then they do reruns?
It's all changed now, yeah.
Because back in the olden days, I mean, they would do it show after show after show. It was just, I think it went like year round. Or certainly, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But I do
Some
know
of these like Netflix shows now, like they release them all at the same time. It's just like 8 episodes. That's your season.
Yeah, that's your season. You get in, you get out, and it's over. So we'll watch a little. What was I talking about this? Well, because I'm tap dancing. There's nothing. I had lunch. I could describe what I'm having for lunch. Reminds me of the old Casey Jones show. That was back in the olden days on WTCN. Channel 11 used to be WTCN before it was CARE. And they had a character called Casey Jones, and he wore the old engineering getup, and his buddy was Roundhouse Rodney, because that's where trains hang out when they're not on the rails. They're at the Roundhouse. And Casey would have lunch with it was a noon show, and every day he'd tell us what he was having for lunch. So he'd sit and watch TV, and he'd show he'd like have a sandwich, and of course he wasn't picky about how thinly sliced the deli meat was. Casey wasn't that big of a deal to Casey, whether it was thick or thin.
What about if there was pickle juice on it?
Well, then he would say that's yucky. He also once complained that the chicken spatzel soup was cloudy. He actually complained to corporate about that. And he would be at lunch with Casey, and he'd explain what you'd have for lunch, and then you'd have something too. Back then, I would do have you ever had Uncrustables?
Oh gosh, yes. I have children.
So they have them I never was interested in them when my kids ate them. I was like, no. It's like you eat the crust too. That's part of it. It's part of your Sammy. You're wasting bread if you cut crust off. I don't like to waste food. But Uncrustables, they come without the crust, so it's not my fault. So they have them out at Hazeltine. I had an opportunity to play Hazeltine National Golf Course. There's a member that works with an organization called Breath of Hope, a Lung Foundation. So he offers up, hey, golf with the member. And then the common man, 2 people join us. Hell, I'm in. Raise money, play Hazeltine for sure. In the halfway house, they have Uncrustables. You grape or strawberry, Tennessee? You have a preference? Yeah, I'm strawberry. That's where you and I we differ on so many things. It's amazing we've gotten along so well for all these years. But yeah, I'm a big Uncrustable guy. Absolutely love it.
The issue I have is you have to freeze them. And then when you take them out, you can't just like throw them in the microwave.
No.
So it takes like 30 minutes for it to thaw out properly.
It's the anticipation of it, Tennessee.
You have to know 30 minutes ahead of time of having the Uncrustable that you want an Uncrustable.
Let me guess, you were one of those kinds of kids that you had to open up one gift on Christmas Eve. Please let us open one gift. Please. Because there was always the gifts from Santa, but then there was always the gifts from, like Grandma and Grandpa and other people. So you had to open that one up. So yeah, it's the anticipation of it, of the Uncrustable. Okay, what am I having for lunch? I'm having some leftover top sirloin steak, cut thin, microwave for just a couple of seconds because you don't want to. You microwave it too long, it gets rubbery.
Yeah.
And then I've got a little.
Lucky.
Then I've got some. This is what you're going to think is really yucky: broccoli.
Yucky.
I love me some broccoli, so I'm gonna have a little broccoli, and then I got a little side salad.
Yucky.
A little fillet.
Lucky.
Eat your way right through to the grill, and then put a little peppers. Let me guess, you hate cucumbers too. God, what? I mean, I actually feel bad for you. I mean, I know you're fine. You know what you don't. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone, but you know what you're not getting and it's gone. But whatever I'm trying to say is,
I was talking about this the other day that I'm always fascinated by how much people care about what I eat. Right, like loved ones, friends, families, coworkers.
well,
like
we're concerned
like,
about it.
but like what I eat has zero impact on your life.
Well, it's just odd. That's all.
Sure.
People are interested in human oddities.
We all like different things.
People are interested in human oddities, and you're a human oddity when it comes to food. Most people enjoy a wide, vast, and varied menu, like to try different things. They enjoy different foods. And, to me, the amazing thing is, and I'm past that now. I don't have that fascination. Matter of fact, there's some things you do I've come around to, like keeping my keys in my pocket. Where are my keys, by the way? I didn't put them in my pocket today. But there's some things you just haven't even tried. You wouldn't even know for sure. You just say, well, I know I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, I just know. I know by looks. I know by smells.
I guess.
And what I eat makes me happy. So as long as I'm happy, why does anyone else care?
Well, it's not that people care. They just find it fascinating. I don't think anybody. I'm not going to try to force you. I don't care. I just think it's weird. It's it's something that you just you have a phobia for trying new foods, and that's okay. It's all right. I have a phobia for work. I don't like to work, so there's that. Put the Uncrustable in the microwave. It can be quite delicious. I guess.
For how long?
Yeah, well, I probably just zap it quick. Here's one. You missed the point, Tennant. Eating only things you like is not healthy behavior. Yeah, Tennant B. It's not healthy behavior. Where do you get your vegetables? Do you say vegetables or vegetables?
Vegetables?
Where do you get the
I eat some
the
vegetables.
vitamins, the nutrients, and the minerals that come from that? Do you take a one-a-day vitamins for men?
I do take gummy vitamins, yes.
Gummy ones?
Yeah.
The Flintstone ones? Or?
Not that one, but like adult gummy vitamins.
Okay.
And not in that way.
Uh-oh. Tennant B, I'm just as picky as you. I got sick of people worrying about what I eat. I don't like a lot of icky things. He doesn't like icky things either.
Let's go start a group together.
Yeah. No, wait. Raspberry Uncrustables whale. I had no idea
I didn't know
had
that existed.
raspberry.
I would try that.
Don't you think I like Uncrustables and raspberries. Don't you think that's some information I'd like to know? Here's one a lot of people like to smoke. And that is bad for you. I think that's been determined. And I've also told you this. I smoked for many. I started smoking when I was 15 years old. Quit a couple of times for 2 weeks, for a couple of days. I once quit for 2 years and started again. It was the worst decision I ever made. Well, maybe not the worst. There are other decisions I made that weren't good, but we'll just keep those to myself. I got a lot of skeletons in my closet. But I enjoyed smoking. You've heard me state this. I haven't said it in years, so maybe we have some 2 or 3 new listeners. If they announced right now that smoking wasn't bad for your health, remember when I had an intern go get me sweatpants at Target when the show started because I was so fat I couldn't do my show with my jeans on? It was just too uncomfortable. I was having trouble even breathing. I would send an intern, if we had them, to the store to go get me a carton of Marlboro Red flip-top box, and I would chain smoke every one until they were gone. That's 10 packs, 20 cigarettes a pack, 200 cigarettes. I'd smoke one after another if they said it didn't hurt you, because I enjoyed smoking. But I just decided I have to quit because smoking will kill you. Of course, so will a snowball with a rock inside of it. But you don't see him banning those. But he's not going to start, is he? So should we break and then?
Yeah, we can break if you want.
Or I can tell you more about my childhood, more about smoking cigarettes. Did I tell you the first time I ever had a cigarette? Gas station in Oka on Main and Ferry. Me and my buddy went up there. And I think cigs were like 50 cents a pack there, and we wanted to try. So we waited until he went back to the mechanic's place. He had a car up on the hoist. And I ran into it, dropped 2 quarters into it, just pulled the first lever that I could find, and then grabbed the cigarettes and ran out of there as fast as I possibly. I was a juvenile delinquent. That was a decision I shouldn't have made. That was one of those decisions that if I could go back and do over, I would. It was Viceroy's. And they became a vice, trust me. I almost got sick and threw up when I first smoked my first cigarette. And you think that would have taught me a lesson? It'd be like you eating a burger bun with pickle juice on it, right? It was the same reaction for me. We'll break. We'll come back to head coach right after this. This has got to be a Santana cover sample.
KFAN welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Moto Seo.
For 2 amazing shows at Target Center on December 28th at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m.
I'm just a soul whose intentions are good.
Tickets are on sale now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wake up, Maggie. I think I got something to say to you.
Get complete show details, including a link to buy tickets at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
I'm going to flag the head coach for delay of show, sort of like a delay of game penalty, but I think he's ready. Let's go live now to Winter Park, the new Winter Park, the TCO Performance Center. Head coach.
Going to be a challenge. Pittsburgh Steelers, you see the identity of their team all over the tape, and going to be a heck of a challenge. Like I said, nobody I respect more than Mike Tomlin and what he's been able to build there, and the toughness and the way that team plays 60 minutes every single week. We got to be ready to go. So looking forward to getting on the grass with our guys. Let's see. I want to congratulate Isaiah on not only the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, but the Nickelodeon Player of the Week as well. So for some of you guys who have been here before, you know that means there should be some slime out on the practice field today. We'll see if I can avoid it. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Just giving you guys an update. Ryan Kelly and Justin School will be full participants today. Jonathan Allen will get a veteran rest day, and then Javon Hargrave and Andrew Van Ginkel will hold out today, and hoping to work them back in as the week goes on, and away we go.
Is wearing women's underwear part of your turnout?
Or the injury he had in training camp?
Yeah, it's probably, he came out of the game feeling pretty good, and then just has had kind of some residual issues, more tied to probably the neck, I would say. He's out of the protocol and cleared that through the medical process last week, and now we're just, working through what his week's going to look like leading into Sunday.
How excited are you to get Jordan Addison back, and what is the realistic expectation for his workload here?
Yeah, I think Jordan's in shape. He's been working his tail off to make sure he's ready to go. It'll be a big week of practice for him. I'm expecting him to have fresh legs, and when Jordan Addison has fresh legs, that's normally a really good thing. So just can't wait to get him back. The guys are so excited to have him back full time for real. It has helped to have him back in the building the past couple weeks, but now it feels much more real.
How much does having him back add pages to the playbook possibly, or does it just unlock things for other guys if everybody bumps out?
Yeah, I think it's probably more so the latter, just from a standpoint of his role clearly is a role that he's kind of really made for himself over his time here. Knowing how versatile and all the things we do with Justin, Jordan's kind of the same way. He can be at any position in our formation. And then that's where I'm really excited about having both Jalen and Adam, to really kind of fuel having, the best group we can have fresh. We can keep the group fresh. Specifically with Jordan working his way back in, and that should bode really well for being able to hopefully play our most consistent game yet.
Is there something about his skill set that's enabled him to be productive regardless of who's been the quarterback, even in college here?
Yeah, I think he's very, very unique from a standpoint of his route running. His ability to use the tools of our offense, albeit motion, alignment, and stacks and bunches and different variations of how we play, to be able to get on edges. And then he's got such unique separation ability throughout the different levels of routes. He can win early, he can win late, and then he's proven time and time again just how elite catcher of the football he is. So I think that's Jordan. The training camp he had, if you asked me to, figure out the podium of first, second, and third place of the best training camps we had, he would for sure be on the podium. I don't know exactly where he would be. We had some guys that had great camps, but he was as good as he's ever been for us throughout, and hoping he can pick up right where he left off.
We'll ask him about this too, but what do you think being in the building and not having to serve the final 2 weeks just home away from his teammates did for him?
Yeah, it's just like the way we build things around here. These guys, they want to be here. They want to be around their teammates. It becomes a way of life for them. So when that gets taken away, it's going to be impactful. So I'm very, it ends up, they call it 3 weeks, but with how it, really breaks down with the roster, the final roster is a Tuesday, and he's got to be, if you're going to use that spot, he's got to be, it really starts then. So it's really closer to 2 weeks of being out and then 2 weeks of being back, a little closer to 4 weeks. I know there's only 3 games in there, but it's a significant amount of time. And I think Jordan was really excited to get back around the guys. I know I was really excited to have him back.
Kevin, do you anticipate JJ practicing at all this week? McCarthy.
I don't have an answer for that right now. I just know that he's continuing to progress along and is into a kind of a different phase of that rehab from the initial kind of just the reactionary kind of early treatment to that injury and swelling and kind of getting some of the healing started, and then now it becomes the strengthening, the mobility, and kind of building himself back.
When you talked about Brian Flores and his ability to identify someone like Isaiah Rodgers, I guess how valuable is that for coaches to be able to have that player evaluation skill?
Yeah, I think it's critical because when you're trying to, in many ways, with working with personnel and how you're trying to build the roster, in many ways you're trying to thread a needle a little bit, and if you're gonna identify a player that you feel like is going to, especially in the free agency process where, how are you acquiring that player? How does it affect comp picks? All those things. You better feel really strongly about the vision and the role for the player. And that's where Flo's been phenomenal from a standpoint of the additions we've made via the free agency process and how those guys have fit, immediately into the role and then started thriving. I think it's been the same on the offensive side when you look at a guy like Jordan Mason and how we were able to maybe uniquely acquire him while kind of keeping the comp pick formula intact and all those things. So a lot goes into it, but it definitely helps when we clearly identify and work through it with the personnel group as far as the vision and what we see hopefully being a positive outcome for the player, most importantly.
Not to say that you didn't have confidence in Jordan Mason, but what does that kind of game do for you as a play caller when you're dialing up runs in the future?
Yeah, even in game. You can feel it. And, I'm sure you guys felt a chill beneath your feet when I think at one point I called 3 or 4 runs in a row. But I even the guy, have really enjoyed how we've attacked people over the years here and tried to make the best parts of our offense and the best way to attack people based upon our skill sets. I've enjoyed that side of it, and I'm absolutely loving the idea of forming the identity that best fits this team, and that's my job. It starts with that, of making sure we're doing the things that we need to do for these guys to have success and to try to make the best situation we possibly can for our players, and play calls have a ton to do with that.
Kevin, did the teams have any input or say on the playing surface? Or is that just an NFL thing and you show up and you see the field for the first time?
We'll get to see it on Saturday. We'll go over there for our walkthrough on Saturday. But yeah, I think with the experience the league has now at so many different venues, we've been to Tottenham twice for next week, so we know exactly, kind of what that. And it's been a new surface both times, I believe, that we've played on there. As far as this weekend, I know, grass field, that's always a great starting point, and then I'm sure the league's done their due diligence from a standpoint of making it the best surface that they can make it. So that's, we'll prepare accordingly, make sure we've got all the right equipment and cleats and the different variations to handle whatever the surface is like on Sunday.
Have they gotten better at London over the years? Because it seems like there was a time where it was just kind of horrible over there.
I know they replaced it. I don't know exactly when. I know they replaced it, I think, going into our game or going into the sequence of games last year, because remember, that's a artificial synthetic turf that's underneath the really nice putting green level field that normally is over the top of that. So I know our players felt like they could feel the difference between 2022 and last year.
Just all the planning that goes into this trip from within the building, just how much does that make your job easier and players' job easier?
I mean, if this was, make sure I'm, booking travel and bringing the orange slices after the game, if it was all those things, I would not be this confident in our ability to go handle these trips. But we've got unbelievable people at every layer of that go into the planning, the execution of said plan. And then I think the best thing that we have here is a bunch of folks that, regardless of what the plans might have been, we're going to figure it out. There's going to be some adversity totally outside of our control somewhere. That's kind of the unique parts of these trips that you learn having done this now. This will be our third time and our first time doing it the way we'll do it back to back. We plan, we think about things as from always the player's perspective first, and what will help them feel their best mentally, physically, and then how do we make sure we do the things football-wise to pair with that, so that by the time we get to either one of these.
Hello?
Sorry, go ahead. Thank you. What do you think another game for Carson can do, just for your offense, the familiarity, just the groove that he can get into?
Yeah, I think it's just, it's another example of, I'm looking for our group offensively to stack as many plays as we can together with all 11 guys doing their job. And Carson, obviously, playing quarterback is a big-time part of that, and the details of him doing his job and how that can impact others, and how we saw some real positivity from just simply executing the baseline level of what we need from each position, including the quarterback. We saw some benefits of that. I definitely want to see our pre-snap penalties go down. I think, there was countless times the other day where, even though we were playing well, we self-inflicted some things to longer down and distances, longer third downs, because of some things happening either pre-snap that can't happen, or even post-snap at times, maybe tied to fundamentals and technique and all that. So we're looking for all of it. We're looking to just constantly chase improvement with all of it.
And what has Jalen Ramsey added to Pittsburgh's defense?
Say that again?
What has Jalen Ramsey added to Pittsburgh's defense?
Oh, I know Jalen very well. There's, I've been a part of teams with him before, coaching in LA. He's just so impactful. He's got the versatility to do so many jobs within a defense. He's always around the football. And when he is around the football, he's got pretty elite athleticism, ball skills, and football intelligence to to just consistently be a problem. He's a guy we got to know where he is. He plays different roles within their defense depending on, what type of personnel that they're playing on that snap. So we've got to know. They've got a few of those guys, whether it's on their front with TJ and the rest of the group that they have that are all impactful, Hayward and Herbig, and then I think they've got really good linebackers. And it seems to be they're getting healthy as well in the secondary, so it's going to be a challenge for sure.
Matt, last one.
Just want to ask about Ty Felton and how he's embraced the role that you've seen on special teams and just how that can help him develop here going forward.
Yeah, first and foremost, I loved how he's attacked it. He's truly been one of the more dynamic players, specifically at that gunner position in football, I think. And that comes down to what is that rep in a lot of ways. I've tried to get him to look at it as he's a receiver beating press coverage. So every time he takes that rep, hopefully it's having a down the line impact on him playing wide receiver as well. And we've kind of already seen that show up, whether it's on the practice field or in his one catch that did not get the first down last week, even though he signaled first down. It was a good learning moment for him. Always see the sticks, but no, I couldn't be more happy with where he's at. And we just happen to have at this point 4, guys we consider starters in the room, and then him and Miles are really serving huge roles, but not directly related to offensive football now. But their time is certainly coming, and they just got to keep working behind the scenes to be ready to go.
Thanks, sir.
Glad you asked, man. Glad we gave you that one.
Yeah, there we go. Coach seems very calm, cool, collected, and comfortable. Much different than last week after what was a humbling and I would dare say devastating loss to the Atlanta Falcons. Coach didn't seem to really have his footing, but now after a dominant performance against the Cincinnati Bengals, he seems to be back to his old self. I mean, he always does have long, rambling answers that generally really don't say anything a lot of times. That's okay. That's coach speak, and we like it. And that's the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings. I don't know if there was much to chew on there, Tenneby, other than
got some offensive linemen back.
Yeah, right. You got the offensive lineman back, which is nice. And then, on the McCarthy thing, they said, will he have any practices? And he said, well, I can't answer that right now. They're still going through the process of, the initial injury and then, the immediate swelling. And now as we try to heal it and get better, I read that to believe is if you're thinking he's going to get any action this week, it's not going to happen. We're going with Carson Wentz, and we'll probably go with him. I mean, I would think even if Wentz is awful, or let's say Wentz gets injured. Let's say he gets knocked out in the first quarter, goes to the tent, comes out of the blue tent. They say can't play, concussion protocol. Well, I guess they go with Brosmer at that point. I don't think JJ is going to take the field again, but we don't know that, and we won't know until that actually happens. But Wentz is kind of a tough guy, so I think he should be just fine. Getting back to, we were talking about the Vikings playing back-to-back, that they're not leaving Europe. I don't, if you want to talk about competitive advantage, they should make the Vikings return to the United States, sit for a little bit, and then go back to Europe if they wanted to make it. Because remember, the Steelers had asked the NFL if they could go early. They wanted to get acclimated to it, and the NFL apparently had done that in the past. Now they say no. For competitive advantages and disadvantages, you have to leave at the exact same time. Well, isn't there a competitive advantage? You stated so, that you believe there is, with the Vikings being able to hang out in Europe for the week leading up to the next game. And Cleveland has to leave the Motor City, which is it's tough to go to Detroit to begin with.
Are they going to force the Vikings to stay in Dublin until Thursday, and they can't go to London until Thursday when Cleveland goes to London? Is that how they're going to do it?
Well, Dublin to London is basically a puddle jumper, I would think.
I know.
So I don't think that's going to...
I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to justify it,
They can't. Yeah. That's my point. There's nothing they can do to justify it. Yeah, my other question is this the first time a team has played back-to-back games in Europe? Has it ever happened before?
Never happened before.
And here's why I think they're doing it. It's kind of an experiment to see if they indeed do decide to expand to Europe, and they have a team in London, a team in Frankfurt, a team in Dublin, and a team in Barcelona. Okay, they have 4 teams in Europe, and then teams have to come over to play. Will it be better for a team to say, look, when you go to Europe, you're going to stay for 2 weeks and play 2 of the teams
back-to-back road games
instead of going there and then coming back, and you'll have back-to-back road games. And maybe they're my guess is that's why they're doing it if they've never done it before. Because I do think if you believe in the jet lag and the circadian rhythms and the time zone changes and light to dark and all that, I'm not a big believer in it. I think there's something to it. I think it's a bit overblown, as we talked about earlier. But this would certainly be a competitive advantage for the Vikings if you believe in all that gobbledygook. That's another thing in itself. Getting criticized by the program director. Sent me a text. What a great segment, when we were talking about Uncrustables and my lunch and smoking. Yet, I have to take a picture of the Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line. Unprecedented response to that segment.
Now what do you think?
Including this one that says, I could listen to your childhood Haight-Ashbury stories till the cows come home. Now that's lean in radio. So I told Abbott, I said, unprecedented response. And then I said, my advice to him would be to leave the radio to the professionals that do it every day. That's what we do. We'll break, come back. If you thought last hour and the hour before were fast-paced and action-packed and controversial, wait till you get a load of hour number 3 here on the Common Man program on The Fan.